Hey, this is Joan. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to look at activity 4.1.4, modeling mechanical motion. And we're looking at the second part. This is the spur gear mechanism. We're going to drop the files into Fusion 360 and animate the model. If you need to know how to upload these files into Fusion 360, please go back and watch the pulley video or just upload them here from your computer. Okay, this is your final product. This is what we're trying to make, and I'll show you how that rotates by animating the model. So we're going to try to get that. Oh, I see a little slippage in my video. Look at that. We'll fix that. All right. So let's start here by making a new file. I'm going to save it as spur. I'm going to call this assembly since I already made one and I called it spur mechanism. I'll call this spur assembly. Okay, and I saved it in a folder with the files. Save. Now, for this one, we're actually using some of this same files, the beam and the shafts from the pulley mechanism. So I'm actually going to leave this open, come over here in my files, and I'm going to look inside my pulley mechanism and borrow those parts. Very simply, you don't need to re-upload them. Just right-click. Insert the beam into your current design. You'll leave it right where it is. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to go ahead and right click that over here in the browser and ground it. That means all the other parts will be brought into its assembly and it will not go to that. It will stay where it is. So it's along the origin. We like that. Okay, we need 2 of these shafts. So I can right click, insert into current design. I'm going to drag it out and over here. Your students will probably try to place it where it goes. We want to discourage that and have them move it so they can see everything. Click OK. And do that one more time. Right click, insert to current design, drag, drag. Excuse me, hit OK. Okay, so I'm leaving this open and I'm going to come over here to the spur mechanism folder that I have my 2 gears in here. One of them is 12-tooth gear. I'm going to right click and insert that. It should come in right in the proper orientation. Drag it out, drag it over. If yours happens to come in the wrong orientation like that, just flip it around by pulling these anchors here. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit closer. Again, the students will try to put everything together and say, hey, I'm done. We'll keep them a little separate like an exploded assembly so we can view it. Click OK. And we have one more, the 60-tooth gear. So right click, insert into current design. And I'm going to drag this out. This one's very large and in the way. Drag it over here and click OK. So you'll see over here I have the 12-tooth gear, the 60-tooth gear. This is the assembly we're making. And then this is one I made already just to practice. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. These are saved. All right. So the first part is the same as we did with the pulley assembly. We're going to use the joint command and we're going to bring in each of the shafts. Let me close my data panel and get some space. There we go. Come up to the assemble panel and drop down till you find the joint command. We want the motion to be revolute and it will have defaulted to what I used last. So revolute, come back to position, and we want to click this shaft. We're going to click it at the end. I could get it in the middle. That might work too. We'll come to the end here. Click that. And I believe we're in the second one here. Scroll here. And there we go. I'm using my mouse wheel to scroll in and out, to zoom in and out. And I can use the pan tool down in the bottom center to move the entire assembly over so I can get a better view. I'll hit escape just once to get out of the pan tool. And then I'm still in my joint command, which I have not accepted. I want to offset that. I'm going to go on the Z axis. And you can go whichever axis you have sitting over here. 1 inch. And then hit OK. And we see it's got a revolute flag on it, so we know that it moves. When you see the flag, you know you've got motion. All right, and let's do that for this side too. This is in the way, so let's find it over here. If you're not sure where it is, you just hover and they highlight. I'm gonna click the eyeball to hide it still there, just hidden from view. Assemble panel, joints command. I know it's in Revolut because I just used it, but I'm gonna double check. And the same thing. And I believe we're in this one's closer. I believe it's in the fourth one over. I might have to move that over, but I think that's where it is. So we'll come to the end, get on the outside, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Click here, and I'm going to offset it 1 inch. Scroll out so I can see where I am. That looks pretty good. And let me just double check that placement. But the next thing we're going to do is move this tiny little gear over so that we can put that a little closer. You don't have to move it closer. I just thought it'd be easier to see. I'm going to go to the Assembly tab, use the Joint command, and now we want to change that motion to rigid because we just want to make it tight on top of that shaft there. Position. Okay, so we want to, I'm going to use the Orbit tool. You could use the front view on the view cube. The Orbit tool is my friend, so I'm going to use it. And escape once, so I'm still in my Joint command. I want the center of this blue. Don't let what's behind it disrupt your visual field. So if I hover here, see how I get like that outside? I'm going to tilt it just a little so you can see the difference. See that part right there? I want that center, but when I go to the center, it goes away. So hit Control on your keyboard, hold it, keep holding it, and then you can get to the center here. Because it's square, it's the only way you're going to do it. And then you just come over to this one, the shaft, and click right on it. And we're just going to send it down the road about, I think this one's 75, and I think it's negative 0.75. I'm going to hit the home button, get an ISO view, and then go to top, just so I can make sure it looks good. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so 0.75, it's a negative 0.75 on that axis right there, whichever axis you have there. Send it going, hit OK. And now I'm going to reactivate the little eyeball icon here to get the 60 tooth gear and put it on. So same story, use the pan tool to get it closer. We'll do assemble, joint. We're going to come up here and let me get this. I'm going to hit the front view. Just get it in front of you so you can actually get in there. I'm going to tilt mine a little because it confuses me. Escape. Get a little bigger. Yes, and you can kind of see that circle pop up as you go by, but you can't actually click on it. It shows up when you're away, your mouse is away from it. So the way to do that is Control on your keyboard, get this all highlighted, Control and hold it. It's on the bottom left of your keyboard and click the center. Same as before, yeah. And now I don't see the shaft at all. I know it's over there. It's like right there. I could click this, but just so I don't make a mistake, I'm going to orbit and then escape once so I may see and get to the end. Okay. And it should be the same. Come down to the offset Z and do a negative 0.75. But I'm going to look right on the top using the view cube and see. Oh, see, I don't like that at all. I want it to be lined up with this gear, so I'm just going to physically get in here. 60. It looks like it could be a little bit better. Can't seem to drag it right there, so let's try 62. No, I want to go the other way. So more like a negative 5.8. Remember, yours might be different depending on how you set it up. Just make sure that the gears would somehow touch, so I can see that there. The teeth are going to touch there. Click OK. Mine ended up being negative 0.58. I'm going to hit the little house to make it isometric again. Okay, so we have some things moving. We have some things rigid. Let's go ahead and put them as a pair. So we want to make this friends with this one. We're going to come up to Assemble. And we're looking for Motion Link, the Motion Link command. Oh, and if it ever asks you to capture the position, yes. It just means you've moved something over and they want it in that place or not. Always capture yes. Okay, now it says select the joint. So we want to get these flags or the little blue part of the bottom of the flag. So it sort of highlights. I don't know if you can see that in the video. It sort of changes color. So click those. Okay, So I see them moving. Let's get this in front of us. Let's make it smaller. And I can click OK and be done with it, or I can think, what have I got here? I've got 12 teeth here, and I've got 60 teeth here. Gear ratio is for next year's class, but we can kind of see that the larger one is 5 times bigger than the smaller one. So let's come and look at the larger one. That was the second one we did, so it's Revolution 2. And I'm going to make it 360 divided by 5. It stops turning red when you have, see how it's red? It stops turning red when you have a mathematical expression. And then I'm going to click OK. Okay, and then I'll come over here, hit that, and come back over to joints, pick any one of these, right click, animate the model. So now it should be going the right way. For every 5 times this goes around, this should be once. I mean, maybe your students will count it. It looks like it's slipping there. I'll have to figure out how to fix that. I think it's just my graphics card. All right, make sure you save, and thank you for watching.